Hello everyone, you're here with me, your host Eliah Bryant, and co-host Juliet Bryant, who's behind the camera. Today we're going to be walking around, Rhythms in Colour, and taking a look at the art, saying our opinions on it, as well as asking some people here for their opinions. I'm here with the wonderful person behind these photographs. Would you like to give a quick introduction?
Hello, yes, my name is Geoff Price and I'm the photographer who produced all of the images here for Rhythms in Colour.
Yeah, we won't spoil too much yet, we'll get into some of that later. But for now, may I ask motivations behind this? It's a wonderful venue and there's a lot of beautiful artwork up, but what made you want to do it?
The motivation behind this was about capturing what wonderful beauty we've got, natural beauty we've got on our doorstep, literally in Suffolk. And it's actually about celebrating Suffolk. I know these are 5 West Suffolk parks, so there's a bigger area of Suffolk, but from West Suffolk point of view, it was about being able to show, look, all this stuff is right here, and this is how I see it. So this is my interpretation of how we see these, the natural world around us here. And that was the motivation.
I've got to say, I really love the way you've divided it up, because there's separate sections with different, what are they called? Seasons. That's
it. So we've got spring, summer, winter, spring, summer, autumn and winter, and that's how it is displayed around the gallery. And you can even sense that when you see the colour schemes as well. You notice that you definitely feel this is winter down here just because it's a bit colder, and the fabulous autumnal colours. And of course, not everything is exact in the way that we expect winter to just be pure snow, or which of course
summer to be pure sun.
Summer to be pure sun. And one of the other ones, which is in the summer section, some of the summer ones, you're not really seeing much sun, which I particularly like, because I'm trying to show images that are not always what people expect to see. So
subverts expectations.
And wide landscapes. So I call these landscapes, but some of them are really, really close in fine detail, because we sometimes look at big vistas and think that's wonderful, and we forget the tiny little things, plants that are just there right in front of us. So that's part of it as well. So
it's a wonderful world we live in, and I think you've done really well. I've not looked at all of them because I've been trying to save my opinions for later. But
that's good.
I mean, out of these seasons, which of them would you say is your favourite?
Are you going to say which season is the favourite or which image is the favourite?
Let's start with season and then go to image.
That you can't do that. I'm sorry, that's impossible. Because one of the things I particularly like about our climate and where we live is I love the seasons. I love the cold of the winter. I love the new burst of life in spring. Sometimes don't like the overheat in summer, and I enjoy the fresh, the change into autumn. There isn't a season that I would say is the best.
Too much variation.
To preempt your next question, that means there isn't a particular favourite photo, because even I find that impossible. There's some I feel more passionate about, but I think I'm really pleased with the whole collection that's here. So I'm not going to get drawn on which is a favourite.
And I mean, you should be. This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to talk to us and introduce this. We'll go off and take a look at some of these right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we're here right now looking at the winter. So we've got some of the first shots of winter. So as Geoff said, this is Rhythms in Colour, a seasonal stroll through West Suffolk's parks. So Geoff did this between 2020 and 2023.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. I think these photos encompass what you think of most when you think of winter. Obviously there's the massive blue hues, the trees that are starting to wilter. In the white photo, you can see the grass is starting to fade, only a few portions left. On the left, there's nice.
So they're very atmospheric pictures. Let's move on to these ones. So for those of you listening and not watching, obviously these are beautiful images of the different areas in West Suffolk, and they're very evocative. They're very moody, aren't they? What kind of emotions do you get from these, Eliah?
I mean, I get a strong sense of almost belonging. You see even though these sites are some places that I haven't ever visited, because of the locations and their link to West Suffolk, which is an area that I've spent a lot of time in, you can see the architecture, the history, kind of all within these photos. For example, in the bottom right here, we've got a photo of a castle. This is just enhanced by his amazing camera and photography skills. But you
so
can
this is
see
actually the Abbey Gardens in Bury St Edmunds, a place that we go quite a lot, but this is an angle I've not actually seen it from.
You can see the walls constructed of various stones, which would have happened a lot in history. You can see the age of them by the moss starting to grow and not yet taken by the winter. In the back you can also see a church, one of the very, very big staples.
I love this one up the top here. The mood from that one is just so incredible. The light, the way that Geoff has captured the light, I think is quite a remarkable thing.
Not to mention all of the lines on the outside kind of draw you into the centre.
Yeah.
Same with the bottom one, amazing photography because as you see, the trees kind of bend their way into the middle, drawing you into the photos almost.
But it definitely has a drawing effect in that one. Let's carry on and see what we've got here. So this is still winter that we're looking at. And so these are Brandon Country Park, Abbey Gardens, East Town Park. He said there are 5 different ones. I love this one at the top. The angle of those branches looks quite surreal, doesn't it?
As well as the fact that they're all, straight branches. You don't particularly see any curves, which enhances the effect more. Kind of looks like a very disorganised spider web. Although
it does look a bit like that, Eliah, you're right.
In some ways, that doesn't take away from the enjoyment I have from it at all.
And this one's got a bit of that kind of the lines, the play of lines again, doesn't it?
Although it does seem more autumnal to me. You can definitely tell. You can tell what he was going for here by showing in the beginning what you expect from winter and then subverting your expectations with these later on, showing more light photos. As you see the last one, again, drawing you in. These amazing photography skills we're seeing here.
Let's have a look over here now, shall we?
Moving on
so I think these are the last 2 of winter. And you can get these images at Geoff, GeoffImages.uk. Exhibition prints available there.
For those watching the video, there's also a little QR code you can scan to visit the website, I believe. As well as a nice quote there, if anyone wants to listen.
The starkly beautiful season with frosty mornings and bright crisp days.
The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from hemlock tree, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Dust of Snow by Robert Frost.
Very well said, Eliah.
Thank
I like
you.
that.
Once again, you can see this new theme appear of not quite what you expect from winter, but still definitely encapturing the feel of it almost. As well as in the bottom photo, you can almost visualize in it the transition from autumn to winter. You see on the left side, there's a lot of plants starting to wither away, but still standing, and the skies are grey and blue with life and energy. And then as you move more right over, the plants have started to fall over, lost of all life, and the sky begins to darken. Which is just an amazing way to do it. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but regardless, it's got an absolutely captivating effect. Once again, with the top one, something that we keep seeing, it draws you into the centre, which is, once again, phenomenal the way he's done this, and with the level of effort as well. You can tell there's soul behind each of these pieces. So now we move on to the next season, going backwards in order, autumn. We've got another quote here, where the song of spring. Where are the songs of spring? Aye, where are they? Think not of them, thou hast thy music too, while barred clouds bloom the soft day, and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. That's taken from Ode to Autumn by John Keats.
These are some of my favourites here, I have to say, Eliah.
Yeah.
But then I do love autumn so much.
Absolutely enchanting. Let's see.
I love this one, Eliah. This is definitely got to be one of my favourites here.
It's got, this is to be expected with a photo like this, but an almost Druidic feel. The trees almost don't look like trees in a way. They feel smooth, like the skin of a serpent, with ripples on them, just like a serpent would have, but not in an evil way like many people would portray snakes as, in a more passive way, showing that everything is linked, and this piece does a really good job at showing that.
It almost looks like bodies as well, doesn't it? Like humans dancing. That's kind of what I see. Should we walk down this way and have a look?
Okay. These photos, I feel, have definitely a more traditional autumn feel. I mean, what you think of when you think of winter, crumpled leaves on grass, still alive but starting to fade, as well as the same thing happening with the trees. It's just absolutely phenomenal work.
This is an amazing one, Eliah, isn't it?
Yeah. For those listening on podcast, there's a tree standing up with branches spreading out everywhere, with yellow leaves draped on the outside. It's mystical almost in a way. You see here, there's not a lot of leaves, it seems more void, but as it branches out, the leaves appear. Not much to say about that one, but regardless, all of these photos don't fail to captivate me. Don't worry about it too much. Okay. Excuse me. May I ask you your opinions on the photos around here?
Yeah, sure. I really like the use of light. I feel like the shadows are really dark, and I think it emphasises the light and the colour coming through.
Definitely.
Like, take this one. See, some of the trunk looks really dark, and over there, and I think it brings out the sky and the colour in the leaves. I like the use. I've not got around to winter yet, but in spring it's good to see the seasonal changes through the photos, which I think is quite...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Good observations as well. What would you say, I know you haven't visited winter yet, but what would you say is your favourite season so far?
I don't know, it's hard to tell. Well, obviously you like spring, seeing everything come through, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice seeing the summer. I think I like seeing the autumn. It's still got the green leaves, but also you've got the colour.
The yellow starting to come through.
Yeah, and sort of the leaves falling in. It's a bit darker. It's still got the bright skies and the greens, which I think is quite nice.
Of course, it's quite hard to compare each season because they each have their own feel to them almost. Again, as you said, you can see the life almost starting to fade slowly from the autumn, as well as those new colours coming through, but each of them have a different feel.
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
We're moving on now, no problem.
Thank you.
We're back now with summer, one of the most iconic, probably, seasons, and the inverse of winter, which is the first one we saw, if you don't remember. So, here we see, again, the opposite of winter. There's so much life in these photos, especially the top one here. You can see the amount of variety you have just in Suffolk alone. You never really think about this when observing plants or looking at the grass beneath you. There's thousands and thousands of different types of life all around us, wherever we look. It's absolutely stunning. Here on the bottom one, you can see massive branching trees, so many different sides, and then just over to the right, the sun with an amazing capture of it, like the outwards effect. Let's see. So, moving on slightly, we have the quote: "The warmest season, a season for beach trips, long evenings, and of course, strolls through the country park." Now to the quote: "Oh, there the chestnuts, summer through, besides the river, make for you a tunnel of green gloom, and sleep deeply above, a green and deep, deeply above a demon green. The stream mysterious glides beneath, green as a dream, and deep as death."
That was an extract taken from Rupert Brooke's The Old Vicarage, Manchester.
Went a bit south at the end with the mention of death, which I personally don't associate with summer, but I see it's nice having juxtapositions in these quotes, because once again it emphasises the life in summer. So moving on, you see swamp, which is, excuse me, if you don't mind, would you like tell me what you think about these photos?
I think some of them are absolutely beautiful. Others are okay, but you know, some really strike you, don't
I couldn't
they?
agree with you more. Out of the seasons you've seen so far, what would you say is your favourite?
Seasons, well, I don't know really, to be quite honest. I've not taken notice. I've read some of the poetry and that, but I just go for...
He's captured the colours of summer.
Just gets you.
In pictures like that, where there's a lot of greens, and then in the autumn pictures, there's a lot of the amber colours, which is used to great effect.
Showing the life slowly fade, but still holding on until winter comes.
There's a picture of a tree in the Abbey Gardens where the leaves are going yellow, and then there's still greens in the background, which are very good.
Yeah. So, what would you say your favourite photo is, roughly, if you have one?
We haven't got any really.
Yeah.
There is.
I have. I said that one over there, didn't I?
Yeah.
It was absolutely gorgeous, and the sky was fantastic in it, really was. Don't ask.
It was the sky at Westow.
Worcester, that's...
Yes, it was very good.
Yeah. It's amazing thinking that all of these have been taken in the general Suffolk area.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful in
Yeah.
there.
I like his use as well of the low angle, where he's getting down amongst the weeds to look up through them.
Yeah.
It's quite clever. Obviously, he's got to do that with a tree.
Thank you so much for talking to me. It's been wonderful meeting you too. So moving on through the summer section, we've got these two photos. Of the two, I think I prefer the bottom one, simply because it just looks absolutely mystical.
That tree is incredible, isn't it? In fact, I think I've stood underneath that tree and thought how magical it was.
I mean, think about the amount of water this thing's consumed to produce all of those leaves. It's just truly phenomenal what can be done in nature. Over the top though, I've got to say, I quite like the one in the top. Seeing the detail on the grain, as well as, I'm not quite sure what plant that is.
Cow parsley.
Cow parsley, that's it. And then seeing the yellows in the background as autumn starts to come in.
I think he's made a very good use of colours in all his pictures, hasn't he? All of them capture an amazing depth of colour and feel, don't they? That really give feel to the seasons, give feel to the atmosphere.
For me, what really sells the photos is the positions of all of them. You can see in a lot of them, centre or close to centre, they almost draw you into the main attraction, which is just something that I've seen constantly throughout his photos, which really, really works. For example, in the top photo here, you see a garden of white flowers leading into another field shorter than the rest of it, and already that angle where the sky opens up is drawn in by the white flowers. It's amazing how well he manages to do this. Moving on to the bottom one here, the colours, again, like you said, amazing. Now to the last of summer.
We haven't seen spring, have we seen? No, we're missing one.
Spring's down there.
Spring's down there, so I think off to spring now.
Yeah?
Off we go.
Hello. May I ask you two what you've thought about the exhibit so far?
I think it's beautiful. I think there's some beautiful photographs, and it makes you think more about what you see when you go to the parks instead of just walking through them. You can look at a tree or some plants, and you see the finer details in it, which is really good. The perspective is really interesting as well on all of them. I think the colours are very vibrant on them. Whether they are like that in real life, I don't know, but they certainly are. But yeah, I love the use of the colour, predominantly green, but very good use of colour. It's the perspective I enjoy on it.
I take it you've enjoyed summer quite a lot then?
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful. What have you thought about it so far?
Yeah, definitely. The details really just, it's like
Definitely.
That's right around the corner from us, sorry. But yeah.
Has it lived up to what you were expecting of it?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I've seen them before because we work here.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing them up and like all together, it's great.
Wonderful. Thank you two for taking time out of your day. All right, moving on to the final section, spring. Once again, a kind of a transition one between winter and summer. So here.
This one's amazing. Look at that, and we're in the kind of late spring at the moment now, aren't we? So this is quite evocative of what we see and feel now, don't you think, Eliah?
From the few that I've seen so far, I think this could possibly be the section with the most colours. Because I mean, you look at this one, there's reds, there's greens, there's yellows, there's whites, there's a whole tree of white over here, purples and more
It's
greens.
the waking up of the earth, isn't it, where we've gone from bleakness into colour.
In fact, that almost looks like an Anglo-Saxon village.
Well, that is because it's Weststow Country Park, which it has the Anglo-Saxon village. So
that's where I recognise
good
it from.
remembering. Are you going to read to us now, Eliah?
Oh, to be in England, now that April's here, and whoever walks in England sees some morning unaware that the lowest boughs and the brushwood shelf round the elm tree bole are in tiny leaf, taken from Home Thoughts from Abroad, Robert Browning.
Oh, to be in England now that April's here. That's your dad says that quite a lot.
Does he?
Yeah.
Here we see one more summer-esque.
Coming and the yew, so you've got a lovely blend there. What's so beautiful, I think, is the blend between the yew leaves and the chestnut leaves. Can you see that? It's patterns. That's really
more so. The tree from this angle has quite a lot of shade on it, and the green really complements with the black, which I think leads to a really nice effect.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So far, Eliah, what's your favourite season? Since you've been asking everyone else that.
I've got to say, I've really enjoyed autumn probably, but I think it might be summer because of those greens, once again, the almost enchanting feel that has.
I love that, an enchanting feel. Oh, look at this one with the blossom. That's very evocative of spring, isn't it?
Once again, more colours. Hello.
Hello.
What are your opinions so far on all of Geoff's artwork? Pictures?
For me, I think Geoff Price is Suffolk's best kept secret, really.
Yeah.
The work is incredibly emotional. I mean, well, we moved to Suffolk five years ago, so we still appreciate. We don't take it for granted, but I think he's really captured the essence of just a beautiful place, really, and that's quite special.
I mean, I think he's also managed to see past what most people see and kind of highlight those things, because just looking at some photos, especially I think this is mainly a summer thing, there's plants in these photos that you wouldn't think to be like anywhere in Suffolk, just plainly in the photo. So he does a really good job at kind of selecting what he takes photos of.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
I think we're so lucky to have so many beautiful green spaces around us, to the point where you walk through and you don't see those components. And I think you can see the craft in the work, and I do think he's managed to capture those unique moments, and it's very special, and and it does make you stop and think, but it makes you want to go back out and revisit some of these places I've never even been to. So it's 100%.
What season would you say has captivated you the most so far?
Through the work?
Yeah.
I think the summer, early spring. I think you kind of got that absolutely right. It's in its full majesty, isn't it, as a work? So
thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I hope you enjoy the rest of the artwork.
No, thank you to Jan. All the best.
Thank you. Hello, I'm here with Susan, Geoff's partner. And I'd just like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
What do you think about the exhibit as a whole?
Really pleased with it. It's always in the mind as you're putting it together, but when you actually see it up, it really feels like it's come together. I'm quite pleased with the poetry splashes, which
I've
were my
really enjoyed
inspiration
them.
because every time I saw one of his, not every time, but sometimes when I saw one of his images, it just brought back some lines from a poem. And I thought, maybe other people would also enjoy some poetry.
You've got wonderful taste in poems, I've got to say.
Thank you.
So would you say this all lived up to what you thought it would be?
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased. It's lovely that lots of people come tonight.
Yeah.
And we're hopeful that people will bring family and friends, and lots of people can be lifted in this bit of a gloomy time, let's face it, lifted by just immersing themselves in these lovely images.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome.
Alright, may I ask your opinions on some of these things?
Yeah, fire away.
So what is your overall opinion of this collection?
I'm really impressed with it. I think Geoff has done a wonderful job. I think the hardest thing about the whole project was reducing the sheer number of photographs that we took, or he took, down into enough for this exhibition, and that's been the hardest part. But my brief to him literally was go and photograph what you see, and it wasn't, I didn't put too much detail into that, because with an artist or any kind of creative, if you give them too many parameters, they'll end up doing what you want them to do, rather than what
let
the
them
right
do what they want to do, then
Exactly
they'll do what
that.
they think's best.
And I don't think, if I'd have given him a really detailed, tight brief, I don't think we would have ended up with what he's come out with. We would have ended up with what I thought was the right thing to do, which might not necessarily be the case.
Plus, I've got to say, because of all of these, like the sheer amount of photos taken slightly different times, the amount of variation between them, as well as the layout of them set up into, again, kind of like a story, it's just phenomenal to see.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, obviously, it took several years to actually produce all of the photographs, and actually some of the winter shots with the snow. And we had a couple of winters where we didn't really get any decent snow, so we had to wait for 3 years into the project before we got a decent snowfall, and even that wasn't any major snowfall. So. I think
very important thing to capture in winter, because it's probably the most associated thing with winter.
I think frost and snow and just capturing that rawness of that height of winter, but the beauty of it as well. But in my personal favourites, I suppose my personal favourites reflect my favourite time of the year, which is this time of year now, sort of April, May. And then my other favourites are probably October as well. So you've got the spring and the autumn, because you've got the colours. If you get a day where you've got a blue sky with the golds and the reds of autumn, there's just nothing like it, is there? It's amazing.
So would you say overall this exhibit's lived up to what you thought it would?
Well, it's lived up to what I thought it would be, and I think it's lived up to what Geoff thought it would be. It remains to be seen if it lives up to what the public think of it, because obviously we've only just launched it. But I'm pretty confident. When you release something like this, you have to do. Any artist has to do what he or she wants to do, and if people like it, fantastic. If they don't, fair dinkum. But I really do genuinely hope that many people will see the photographs and then be inspired by them. And as I mentioned when I was giving my speech, I genuinely spoke to an elderly lady this morning who was feeling really miserable and down. And she looked at the photographs, and she'd only got halfway round. And she collared me and said, are you the photographer? And I said, no, I work here. And explained the project. And she said, well, I just wanted to say that this morning I felt really, really miserable, really down, and just not very well at all. But these photographs have completely changed my mindset and how I feel about today. So that was really kind of a beautiful thing to happen on a day that we're launching the exhibition. So that's made it for me, quite frankly. So.
I've got to say as well, I believe your belief that people like it is very well placed, because throughout the different people that I've talked to so far, generally there hasn't been really a single negative word.
That's good.
Everyone's really, really enjoyed them.
I mean, there were two. You know, when we created the project, there was no idea that we would do an exhibition.
Yeah.
It was really to fulfill a need, which was, as a marketing department, we didn't have very many photographs to show off the parks in all their beauty in all the 4 seasons. So that was the brief. It was only when we finished the project and we realised that there were some absolutely stunning photographs. And it seems such a shame that they sit on our hard drive and get used here and there for things, but why not put an exhibition on, you know? And it's a brilliant PR thing for the council, for West Suffolk Council, and something that, again, Geoff alluded to, you know, West Suffolk Council kept the parks open during the pandemic, and lots of other national parks, stately homes were all closed down. So it seems a light years away now, that when we were going out for an hour, do you remember that? Just an hour a few years ago to get our date, and you know, and we were putting out images and photographs on social media because a lot of people were unprepared or not able to go out and see. Do you remember spring 2020 when we had the pandemic was a beautiful spring? The weather was amazing, but a lot of people couldn't get out and enjoy it. So the fact that we were putting a lot of these photographs up on social media,
letting people experience it.
Absolutely, that was the only way they could experience spring, really. Yeah. So it's been a thoroughly terrific project to work on, and as I say, just speaking to that lady this morning has probably made it for me. Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. After seeing all of these wonderful photos and talking to so many wonderful people, it's time for an overview. So, overall, I've got to say, I think summer has to be my favourite season. If you want to order any of these photos or look at them yourself, you can either come here.
We're at the Apex in Bury St Edmunds.
Or you can visit Geoff's website.
Which is, I can't, Geoff, which is GEOFF image.uk, and we'll put the link in the description anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's been incredible seeing all these pictures, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. The amount of techniques that Geoff's managed to implement in all of these different photos, pretty much, is just mind-blowing. The amount of emotion, character, humanity in some of them even, which is surprising from a nature, natural photos. It's just astonishing. Astonishing,
totally. There's a very, very evocative, mystical. I think they capture the essence of nature so well, and what's so beautiful is this is what's local to where we live. Obviously you can come and visit if you're not around Suffolk. Do come into Suffolk, because Suffolk has some amazing places, and do come to the Apex, Bury St Edmunds, until the 15th of June, and check out Rhythms in Colour. Eliah, it's been great. Your interpretation of the artwork. It's been really beautiful. Have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely. And just a final word: take this as a sign to go out to your local, let's say, park or countryside, and just take a second to appreciate the nature that's all around us all of the time. You've been listening to KindaSound Radio with me, your host Eliah Bryant, and co-host Geoff Price. I hope you can come again.